In the snowy forests of Canada, the Black Pine Lodge stands alone in the moonlight. The wind blows through the tall pine trees, making eerie sounds that send chills down your spine. Under the deep snow, it feels like the cold air carries whispers of lost souls. Once a beautiful place, the lodge now looks dark and scary, with its windows showing nothing but darkness. People say that on nights like this, when the snow falls quietly and the moon is bright, the spirits in the Black Pine Lodge come alive, luring anyone nearby into their spooky world. 5 friends, Emma, Mark, Sarah, David, and Lisa, decide to take a winter vacation away from the stresses of city life. Emma, always the planner, finds a beautiful remote cabin deep in the Canadian Rockies called Black Pine Lodge. The cabin, surrounded by towering pine trees and nestled near a frozen lake, promises a peaceful retreat. As they drive up the winding, snow-covered road, they're excited for a week of skiing, board games, and relaxing by the fire. When they arrive, the lodge is everything they hoped for. Rustic but cozy, with a massive stone fireplace and large windows offering breathtaking views of the mountains. The caretaker, an elderly man named Mr. Halloway, meets them at the door. His demeanor is cold, and he warns them to stay indoors once the sun sets, as the mountains can be unforgiving. Before leaving, he cryptically adds, "Be mindful of the past." As night falls, a heavy snowstorm rolls in, blanketing the lodge in white. The friends gather around the fireplace, telling ghost stories and laughing at the howling wind outside. But as the evening progresses, strange things begin to happen. Mark swears he hears footsteps upstairs, even though no one is up there. Sarah sees a shadow move across the window, but when she looks outside, there's nothing but darkness and snow. Dismissing the events as tricks of the mind, they go to bed. But in the middle of the night, Emma wakes up to the sound of faint whispering coming from the walls. She gets up to investigate and follows the voices down to the basement, where she finds a dusty old trunk hidden under the stairs. Inside, she discovers a stack of yellowed newspaper clippings and a worn diary. The next morning, Emma shares her discovery with the group. The newspaper clippings detail a series of gruesome murders that took place at Black Pine Lodge over 50 years ago. A family of 4 had been found brutally murdered, with no signs of forced entry or robbery. The diary, which belonged to the mother of the family, tells of her growing fear and the feeling that they were being watched by unseen eyes. As the days pass, the hauntings become more aggressive. Objects move on their own, and the friends begin having terrifying nightmares of the murdered family. Mark sees a reflection of a man with a bloody axe in the bathroom mirror. But when he turns around, there's no one there. Sarah is locked in her room by an unseen force, and when she finally escapes, she finds scratch marks on the inside of the door. Desperate to leave, they try to contact the outside world, but the phones are dead, and their car won't start. David, a skeptic, suggests they're all just paranoid, but even he can't explain the cold spots that move through the lodge or the sudden drops in temperature that seem to follow them. Emma, driven by a sense of urgency, delves deeper into the diary and uncovers the truth. The family that was murdered had disturbed something ancient in the mountains, a spirit of vengeance that was awakened by their presence. The diary hints that the only way to appease the spirit is to acknowledge its suffering and offer a token of peace. But before Emma can figure out what the token is, Lisa disappears. The friends find her in a trance, standing on the frozen lake, staring blankly at the icy surface. When they bring her back to the lodge, she speaks in a voice that isn't her own, warning them that they will all meet the same fate as the family if they don't leave. With the storm reaching its peak, the friends realize they have no choice but to confront the spirit. Emma remembers the diary's mention of a ceremonial offering, a locket belonging to the murdered mother that was buried somewhere near the lodge. They search the property and finally find the locket buried under an old tree. But as they dig it up, the hauntings intensify. The spirit manifests, taking on the form of the murdered family, their faces twisted in anguish and rage. In a desperate bid to end the terror, Emma holds up the locket and pleads with the spirits to find peace. The apparitions pause, and for a moment, it seems like the storm is calming. But then the ground beneath them starts to shake, and the lodge begins to collapse around them. The friends make a harrowing escape into the blizzard, just as Black Pine Lodge crumbles into the earth, taking its dark history with it. Rescue teams find the group the next morning, huddled together in the snow, barely alive. When asked what happened, they're unable to explain the horrors they witnessed. The site of Black Pine Lodge is now just a pile of rubble, with no evidence of the ancient evil that resided there. The friends return to their lives, but they are forever changed. They keep in touch, bound by the trauma of their experience, but none of them ever speak of what happened at Black Pine Lodge again. And as they move on with their lives, they are haunted by the feeling that something, or someone, is still watching them, waiting for the right moment to return. Years later, a new lodge is built on the same site. The owners are unaware of the land's dark past, but as the first winter snow falls, the new guests begin to hear faint whispers in the walls, and the cycle of terror begins anew.